Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Moving up with the Miclettes.
Moving on up.
And you were looking fly, as always. My name is Joseph.
And my name is Sherri.
And what are we talking about today?
Well, as some of you may know, he will be retiring when he turns 50. At least that is our goal.
That's the plan.
And so we have about 8 years for that to transpire.
Yep.
And since I won't quite be 50 at that time, I'll be about 46 and fly. But I'm still going to, the goal is for me to still retire as well, because he ain't going nowhere without me.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, our goal, our plan, our 10-year, 15-year plan down the line was, once all of our children graduated from high school and we're off to either going to college or doing their own thing, we're able to sustain themselves without us being with them all day.
Yeah.
Our goal is to potentially find a place for us to, as some would say, retire, or just to be somewhere for a indeterminate amount of time, to relax, to unwind, to
live out those beautiful years in our 50s and longer.
And not necessarily to say to move out there indefinitely, but just, like I said, being somewhere that we can enjoy and have fun and do all that, and at a lower cost of living, and just be able to experience new things at our later years in life. So when we kind of talked about it, and we're like, okay, well, where's somewhere we wouldn't mind potentially moving that has a lower cost of living, that we can experience culture and food and excitement and things of that sort.
Outside of the United States.
Yes, this is outside of the United States. We came up with a few on our list. So this will be a series where we're talking about different locations outside of the U.S. that we potentially want to retire or go spend time in those particular countries.
Yeah.
So the first one on our list is Malaga, Spain. So for those of you who are not familiar with that location, it is once again in Spain.
Yep.
And it is located on the Costa del Sol, or the Coast of the Sun, along the Mediterranean. So we chose Malaga, Spain, because we are interested in international travel, potentially retiring out of the United States and doing it in a beautiful place with a lower cost of living, and just somewhere that we would enjoy once again.
And if you've ever looked at pictures of Malaga, Spain, as we did for the first time maybe 6 months ago, we were just completely captivated by its beauty in the architecture, the beaches, how close it is to the Mediterranean. We were attracted to its climate. We were attracted to its social life, as it looked like, at least on pictures, or I should say at least in pictures. And so immediately we just started talking about, hey, could this be a potential location on our future list? And it absolutely became a location.
And also looking for a location, we wanted to try a place that the climate was conducive to us getting up there in age, and just being a place where we could spend a lot of time outdoors and outside and immersed in the culture and things of that sort. So the climate in Malaga is, in the winter months, it gets to about the low 60s, and of all Europe, it's actually the warmest climate there is during the winter time. During the months from March to November, the weather ranges from about 70 to 80, high 80 degrees. So I was actually feeling that, not too hot, not cold where it's snowing all the time.
Kind of like what it is today in San Jose.
Yeah. We also wanted to find a place that had a lot of culture. So some place that had a lot of festivals, where food was a big thing, where they spent time just, congregating and having fun with family and doing things like that. So that was a big plus for us as well on that list.
A lot of outdoor activities. We noticed that when we've traveled, at least in the Caribbean, we've always been attracted to these cities and these towns in which we've noticed people congregate deeper into the night, right? Later hours into the night, and many people are outside.
Yeah.
It's not a location where everybody's in by 6 in the evening or even 5 in the evening, and it's part of the culture for people to just stay in. We don't necessarily want to be somewhere for months at a time where we're like, well,
Yeah.
It's 5 in the afternoon, but everything's closed, or there doesn't seem like there's a lot of life and culture outside.
Exactly.
And so we wanted to find something that, really spoke to us in that aspect, that we felt like, hey, we can be around in a very socially friendly environment in which fosters that community and felt like we're part of something. And there's a lot of activity deeper into the evenings, or just every day. There's always something to do.
Exactly. And that's what we wanted to do. Something to do.
Something
so
to
not
do.
just sitting there being bored. And of course, since it's along the Mediterranean, they have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Yeah. So that was also something that was piqued my interest. Being that it's Spain, lunch hours sometimes are 3 hours, because they take the time to talk and connect. Yeah. And we really wanted that environment.
Yeah. So now let's get into some of the categories that we can take a look at what the cost of living would be in Malaga, Spain. So let's start off first off with some of the basic utilities. And these basic utilities are the electricity, cooling, heating, water, and garbage. So on a monthly basis, you're looking at about $131. If we're looking at internet cost, right, we're talking 60 megabytes per second, which is, I guess standard, right? At the very least. Now we're looking at about $47, almost $48 per month. Now let's take a look at some other categories, such as leisure and activities. Let's say you like to work out and you want to be part of a fitness center or a gym. There in Malaga, the monthly price or the monthly membership cost of being part of a fitness center would be about $41, almost $42 per month. If you like to go out to the movie theater and you want to be part of that theater crowd, the cinemas as they call them there, now we're talking to look at about $9 to $10 per month. And that's going to depend on how often you go to the movie theaters. If you're anything like Sherri's probably going to be there 2, 3, 4 times, maybe 5 times a month, right?
I like my movies.
She does. She loves her movies. Now let's take a look at dining. From a dining perspective, right? Looking at a dine-in restaurant that's considered quote-unquote inexpensive, we're looking at about $11 to $12 per meal. If we're looking at a dining experience for 2 people at a medium cost type of a restaurant, again, dine-in, then we're talking about somewhere between $47 to $48 per dining experience. If we're talking about fast food, now we're looking at about anywhere between $9 to $10 per meal. And again, that's fast food, which, if you're anything like us, we don't necessarily do a lot of fast food. So we might be able to save some money there.
But we might spend all our money because we're going to be eating all the time. So,
that's true.
I don't know.
Go into the coffee shops and the markets.
Exactly.
Right? Now, going back to that, if you want to save some money on your food and not spend so much on dining experiences, then comparing it to the United States, Malaga is about anywhere between 20 to 70% less expensive. Now, I know that sounds like a big window, right? 20 to 70%, that could be a number of things, but that's just it. You go to the grocery store, you're buying a number of different items. So the average price difference is anywhere between 20 to 70% less expensive than it is here in the United States, which again could then motivate you and inspire you to actually go shopping for groceries and do most of your cooking at home as opposed to going out. So you might be able to save yourself some money. We might be able to save ourselves some money if this is where we end up.
But then again, we might be able to save ourselves some money by not buying groceries and just eating out.
Getting the full experience, right?
Yes. We'll just walk it off.
There you go.
Walk off all them calories.
There you go. Now, let's take a look at your living expenses in regards to whether you are going to rent or buy.
Which will be the bulk of your money.
Yes. So if you're looking at a 1-bedroom apartment in what they call the city center, we're looking at about $800 a month.
Ugh. I'm just thinking about prices here. That's all.
Oh, I was like, what was that? Did you just fall out?
Yes, I fell out because these prices compared to here, I'm just like, what is that?
Now, a 3-bedroom apartment in what is called the city center is going to range around $1,420. So you're looking at about $1,400 per month for a 3-bedroom apartment. Now, what happened to the 2-bedroom apartment? I don't know. But you're going to assume that it's going to be somewhere in between those prices, right? Now, what if you want to live outside of the city center? For a 1-bedroom apartment, you're looking at about $635 for rent, which again, go ahead and fall out now, is a lot less expensive than it is here in San Jose. For a 3-bedroom apartment outside of the city center, you're looking at about $991. So almost $1,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment outside of the city center.
$991 is about the cost of a 200 square foot studio anywhere in California.
Especially here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Now, what if you want to buy property? What if you want to purchase your apartment and not rent?
Which was our goal.
It was definitely something that we had talked about, right? The price per square foot of a location that is inside of the city center is about $370. Okay, so you figure you can do the math looking at the square footage of that location. If you are outside of the city center, then the price per square foot is about $224. Okay, so again, based on the square footage, you can do your own math. And that is, of course, as of the date of this recording. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. Something that we also feel is important to mention is the mortgage rate. For a 20-year fixed mortgage, we're looking at about 2.55%, which is dang good, right? 2.55?
Yeah. So the last thing we want to talk about is residency. So when moving to another country, they'll consider you what is called an expat, aka an immigrant.
Yeah.
Feel how you want to feel about it, but that's basically what it is.
You're basically immigrating to another country to live there.
Yes. So the 2 visas that we're going to talk about today are the non-lucrative visa, meaning you're not going to be working in this country if you plan on retiring. So in retirement, that's supposed to be your leisure time, right? But with the non-lucrative visa, you will need a few things. So the first thing is they will need to see private health insurance. In order to obtain the non-lucrative visa, you will need a few things. So the first thing is private health insurance, which you've obtained yourself. The second is proof of funds of at least 26,000 euros. So if that's equating US dollars, that would be at least $30,000. You'll also need a rental agreement or a title to the real estate that you've purchased, and also a certificate of absence of a criminal record. So those are the 4 things you will need to obtain a non-lucrative visa in Malaga, Spain.
Don't go over there trying to commit no crimes.
Exactly. Keep it legit.
Yep. Got to have a clean record.
So the next visa is called a golden visa. So with the golden visa, they consider that an investor visa. You'll need to either invest at least 500,000 euros in Spain, or you can buy up to $1 million in shares of a company, or you'll need to buy up to $2 million in bonds through the Spanish government.
That puts some things in perspective.
Yeah. How easily it is if you have money to become a resident.
Yes. Money talks. Money talks and big money walks.
Exactly. And if you're trying to become a permanent resident, if you are living under any of the visas for at least 5 years, except for a student visa, which does not count particularly, then you are able to become a resident.
So again, this is on our list of locations that we have now put a pin into that world map of potential retirement cities.
Locations.
And we're going to provide about 3 to 5 videos in total, as Sherri mentioned earlier, as part of this series.
Yes.
And, you know, we're going to find out a lot of information with some of these places that we've been talking about, or maybe even discover for the first time through this research, and provide you with some of this information and hopefully be able to help you. And now, because we're talking about retirement and where we want to live in our retirement years, maybe you can relate.
Exactly. As Scar says, be prepared. Make sure you do your research. We will list the name of the website that we obtained a lot of the information from, which was called numbio.com. And it provided so much information, really cool things that they were able to provide. And you can do a comparison of the location of where you currently live to where you want to go.
Yep.
So that was kind of what we did, and we were able to come up with all this information to provide you. So once again, that website is called numbio.com, and we will provide that in the description down below.
Yes.
Make sure you do your research. If this is something you have on your list, or if there's somewhere you want to go, make sure you look into all aspects and the things that interest you. So for us, there was something we did not provide on that list, which was childcare. But for us, our goal is not to have our children with us when we go to retire. They might come visit, but we're going to be like, go home.
Yeah, they're going to be of the age where
Yes.
daycare and childcare wouldn't even be applicable to our lives even at that time.
Yes. So that information is also on that website if that's something that you need, if you're trying to move your whole family over there in advance. But thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you were able to obtain some type of information or just knowledge about something, even if it was just to learn about the country. Hopefully we were able to provide that for you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below, and
keep moving up with the Miclettes. Peace out.